Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Living with Ugly or Living Ugly or whatever we are. I am here with, and I'm Scott, by the way. We are here with the lovely Jaimie Coble. Say hello to the people out there, Jaimie,
Hello, people
out there.
out there.
So, we are just going to kind of throw around some ideas and ask you some questions because obviously you follow the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza because I met you at a workshop of Dr. Joe Dispenza's. So we're just going to talk a little bit about yourself, which you can start with right there. Just a little bit about what Jaimie is all about.
What am I all about? Right now, I'm all about self-improvement and creating the best life that I possibly can, going for more joy as much as I possibly can experience, and keeping my heart open as wide as possible.
Perfect, succinct, awesome answer.
Okay.
Perfect. That's perfect. That makes my job a little easier. So it's all good. All right. So my second question to really get in to this is, do you believe that your thoughts create your reality? And what does that phrase mean to you?
I absolutely do.
I believe
Um, well, that's what the premise of all this work is basically about anyway, what we're doing with Dr. Joe. But what it means to me is it kind of sums up all of my beliefs too and my programs that are already patterned in based on my thought processes over the years or my conditioning or life events that shaped me. So I'm stuck either in positive, well, I'm not stuck when I'm positive, but stuck in either negative patterns or moving towards positive patterns of thought to help create a better reality instead of being stuck in my past programs that are then creating, the chemicals in my body that are then influencing my thought processes and influencing how my brain is functioning and causing me to think a certain way. I'm taking the reins when I believe that my thoughts are creating my reality, and I'm using all the tools that I can to overcome my past self or my patterns or my programs or whatever is keeping me stuck in any way.
perfect. So is the reality that you are currently living reflect the thoughts that you currently have?
Yes.
Yes, a resounding
Yes.
yes.
Yes. I mean, in both good and bad ways, but like you and I and a bunch of other people had just spent the weekend together. And literally almost the next day, I pulled into a parking spot, and diagonally across from me is a license plate that says happy to be me. So yes, my outside world is reflecting always my inner state. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I'm always seeing
And
signs.
and in watching you, because we did a ropes course,
Yeah.
and I saw you coming against your edge, and I watched you put a harness on. You say, "I think I'm at my edge right now." No, no, you're not. But you were rewarded because you pushed against it and you went further and further. And the further you went, look at the reward that you get. You have that little sign from the universe, or as I would say, you, because you are the universe, that little sign that says, "See, I was watching you and you did it. And I'm so proud of you. I showed you this little sign to just make sure you understand you did it. You did it." So, do you believe you possess the tools to create your perfect reality?
I do. I think that it's a process, and I come across different layers. And like you said, I came up against myself totally, and I saw another program. I am not mechanically inclined. As soon as I had to put that harness on me and figure it out for my own safety, I was like, I'm not equipped. I'm
Hmm.
at my edge because, the man that we had initially didn't explain it very well. So it made me
Right.
nervous.
Hmm.
And yeah, but I do have the tools to create my perfect reality as long as I'm doing the work to do it and staying conscious and aware of what I'm moment by moment creating.
So, what would you say your most valuable tool is in coming up against that fear, coming up against just everyday fear?
Yeah, I used it. And this comes from the workshop, centering in my heart. Centering in my heart. Because even on the ropes course, which thank you very much, because I always have angels in my life that are helping me through, and you were my hero that day, because it was my idea.
It was
My
your
idea to
idea.
go to that ropes course. And it was based on testing myself to see if I still had a fear of heights after overcoming myself in Santa Fe, New Mexico, when we were together at a Dr. Joe workshop. And yeah, so I don't have a fear of heights anymore. That wasn't my fear. My fear was balance, losing my balance, and being the first one to fall off the course. And my other fear was the mechanical thing of not clipping it correctly or being responsible for my own demise. Yeah.
So would you say then your biggest tool then is just becoming heart-centered?
Yes, yes.
And how do you do that? Explain that. How do you do that?
Okay. Can I tell you a story that led me to that belief?
100% you can.
Okay, great. So at in Santa Fe, at the workshop, I was coming up against myself right after I registered because I had no idea that we were going to be doing this physical challenge. He had just reformatted the whole workshop format, and it hadn't really been announced yet. It was a surprise. And then I registered. It became non-refundable because we were a month out. And then we started seeing what they had been doing in Tarragona with the ropes course. I freaked out completely. I wanted to get my money back, but it was not refundable because I had this belief that I didn't need to challenge my fear of heights. I didn't want it forced on me. And I didn't think that it could affect me in a positive way if I did. I didn't see how it could because I didn't think it was necessary. It wasn't going to be a necessary component of my life to have to get over my fear of heights. So let's just not do it. And I arrived there and I was still coming up against myself. I was crying in my meditations. I didn't want to go. I figured out when it was going to be my turn. We weren't even supposed to know that, but I'm counting where the seats are moving, and I knew what day we were going. And that morning, we were all going out to do a walking meditation. And this was such a gift to me because, as you can see, my thoughts are creating my reality, but I am not creating a good experience here. We were doing a walking meditation, and I was at the part where I had to open my heart. I'm standing there and I'm trying really hard with my eyes closed to open my heart, and I was failing. I couldn't do it because I was so scared. And I feel this person bump up against me, and it's Dr. Joe. And I'm an empath and I could feel energy, so I knew right away that it was Dr. Joe, and I was like, oh, I thought I'd get nervous, but I didn't. And he just started working with my heart, and I had the most incredible experience, heart-opening experience that I've ever had, and I've tried to replicate it, and I haven't been able to yet, but I will when the time is right. But it flooded my heart like I can't even tell you how much love. I didn't even know how much love there could be. I never had that experience before, and it flooded my entire body. And instead of it being a concept, it now became an experience of we really are either in a state of love or fear. And when I was in a state of that much love, I didn't have fear. And I walked the whole walking meditation, and I came back completely brave, knowing that my turn was next. And I held on to it. And we did the trust fall first. And I said, okay, let me just make sure these people are strong enough to hold human beings with have the analytical mind come in. I said, okay, they passed. I'll go second. I volunteered to be second. Loved it. I would have done it all day long. I loved it. And then, we get to the part where I'm climbing up the ladder 35 feet and walking across the beam, and some of my fears kept coming back. But I had angels along my path, just the way that you were on my path with the ropes course. And the team leader that was working that event, she wasn't my team leader. She was amazing. She was strong. She infused me with her strength. And she told me that you don't know what gift lies on the other side of this. That really impacted me. And I said, okay, I'm willing to see what gift lies on the other side of this. And then I had the guy who was running the outfit. He was wonderful too. He's like, just keep your eye contact with me. You're safe. You're fine. Everybody's yelling out support. And I made it. And I had a fear that I was going to either not do it and fail or do it and fall off early and fail. That was my fear at the time. And I made it all the way across. And the jumping off into the unknown was the easy part. Trusting that they all had me and they were belaying the ropes correctly and that I was going to be safe, that actually was the easy part. But the whole leading up to it, everything that I was doing to myself, that had been so fearful, when I would stop and center into my heart, it would ease. So that was the most powerful lesson for me, because it turns out I let fear rule me quite often. And now I've become more conscious of that. And I intentionally wanted to challenge it by doing the ropes course. Turns out I'm still a little afraid, but I got through it.
You get levels, right? And next time you go back, a little bit more, a little 5 foot higher, maybe, you know what I mean? That's what I said to myself. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I am going to overcome this because I'm going to attack it. Just like you said, if I let this in my head, it's going to run my brain and take me over. So I get the fact of, you know, letting go and getting heart-centered. It is so impactful. People do different things in order to get where they need to get to bring them to the life that they want to live. And when you do, a sign shows up and it says, right on the
Yes.
car, it's, so there you go.
Yes.
And what did the sign say?
It said,
So,
happy to be me. And
there you
that's
go.
exactly how I was feeling. I was proud of myself. I was glad that I did it. And I was happy to be me.
And of course that showed up because it is all inside you, right?
Yes.
It's all, that's our little joke.
Yes.
So what would you say to somebody that is really struggling in life, trying to overcome fear? Because I think you would agree that most of our life, we always react to fear. What if this happens? What if this happens? Well, what's my plan B if this doesn't work? If this job doesn't work out, what am I going to do? And we kind of live our life through that fear, just like you did with Santa Fe and the ropes course. So somebody that doesn't do this work, that is really a newbie to all this, we create our reality, what would you say your number one advice to that person? What would that be?
It would still be connecting to their heart. And I actually did this with a friend of mine who was going through a hard time, and they weren't interested in meditation per se, but we went down to the beach and we just had, you know, an open discussion. And I said, would you let me try something? And I kind of walked her through centering into her own heart, and she loved it. And now she wants to look more into meditation. So I would say that, but I would also say that you can't force any of your beliefs or ideas or anything that works for you on somebody else. You could lead the horse to water, but you know, not everybody is always ready to begin this journey, or it may not feel right to them at the time. So I don't push people. I don't do that. I just try and accept them where they're at and offer support that I can.
Love that. Yeah, that's good, because it is, you're right. You want to help people so bad. We all have people in our lives that, man, if you would just try this, why, you know, people have been healed, that the condition that you have healed themselves. Do you really want to heal yourself, or do you really just want to stay in that stuck feeling because it gives you the excuse not to reach, not to go out and really push against the fear that you have? It's a way to not do the ropes course.
You know, they're ingrained, their thought processes and their beliefs are already established within them, and they're not familiar with coming up against themselves and going beyond it yet. They don't have the tools maybe that you and I do, because we are doing this work. So,
and that is the perfect word. I really believe that is the number one word in all this work, is addiction. What are you addicted to? Obviously, we know people that are addicted to alcohol, drugs, but what feelings, what thoughts are you addicted to? Because they're the ones that we don't recognize.
yes.
We live them every day. Just a couple nights ago, I talked to a woman who, she has no breaks between her thoughts of fear. She just started doing Dr. Joe's work, and she was like, can this help me? That was her question. And for her to start saying, oh my God, this might be able to help me, it is such a liberating feeling to be thinking, oh my God, there is something out there that can liberate me and free me from this fear. But the thing out there is all in here. It's just in you. It always is in you. All right. So, what does happiness mean to you?
That just means inner peace and my ability to experience joy and go for joy and to keep my heart open. Because sometimes you don't realize through life, you know, we all go through our own traumas. I was going through a bit of a funky time a couple of weeks ago because I lost my godmother to cancer and lost a lot of people over the years. And we go through our ebbs and flows, but you know, we can always get to the other side. And the most important thing in order to experience happiness is to have your heart open, because we don't sometimes go unconscious and don't realize we've closed it because we want to stay safe.
Are you happy?
I am happy. I'm happy to be me.
Yes, I love it. And it said it right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Right?
But that
Right
doesn't
on
mean
that
that I'm not going to have hard days. That doesn't mean that all of us doing this work or whatever tool we're using are not going to have hard days, but we have to stay conscious and be aware of what we can do to shift again.
Yeah, because we do. You decide to go down this road, and I guess it's the road less traveled, but it's still hard to stay on that road sometimes because of the addiction of what we know and what we've been taught and what we've lived. So it does. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of strength in order to walk that road.
Yeah.
But
the gifts are too tremendous to overlook. I mean, once that
right.
concept becomes experience, you can't go back anymore. You know differently.
That's right. Because those license plates start showing up everywhere, right?
Yeah.
All those little things, those little signs.
Yeah. And you just have these heart opening moments where you didn't even know that you could feel that much love. And just, I've had all kinds of experiences that I wouldn't expect to get out of meditation or doing this work. And it's life changing.
Mm. So would you say that you have meditated all your life or just in the last 10 years? What's the meditation?
No, that's actually interesting because I was meditating from when I was 19. And the best part about doing this work is all of you guys that I've met and the community that we've formed, because I never felt like I fit. That was always inside of me, reflected outside of me. I never felt like I fit. I was always into this stuff early on. Nobody else was. My friends thought that I was flaky. And I was meditating when I was 19, but I was doing like creative visualization meditations, you know, just like experimenting with guided meditations. But I knew Dr. Joe. I knew him too long, and I kept being stubborn and not ready for it because I read all of his books and, you know, tried his meditation once and I fell asleep, and I thought, well, it must have been boring because I never fell asleep during a meditation before. But I was being stubborn and I laid down because that was the way that I was used to meditating, and I should not have laid down. But I think all of this comes to you when you're ready for it, and I was ready for it. And I will tell you honestly that his version of meditation has taken me deeper, and I've developed more of a relationship with the loving intelligence and the divine that I've ever felt in my life. And I have been doing this for a very long time, and I have believed these things for a very long time, but I didn't get the effects until I started doing this work, this particular type of meditation and process of creating.
I love that. Yeah, because that's very similar to me. Exactly. And that's it. You just feel a connection to yourself. And the outside world doesn't necessarily come in as hard.
That's actually a blessing for me because I grew up always being an empath. It's painful sometimes when you can feel other people's feelings like all the time in your body as if they're your own. And there were many times where I was like, take it away. I did not want this. I didn't know why I had this. I didn't know why other people couldn't feel what I felt. And I wasn't enjoying it. But ever since I started daily doing this meditation, my energy is so different that I've become a dominant energy, and I don't easily lose my dominance to another person's energy anymore. So I'm not absorbing their stuff or being pulled down by them anymore. And that is one of the greatest blessings of doing this work for me in particular.
So why do you think that is, that you don't get pulled into their energy as much? What is that?
My field has changed. I'm a higher vibration, and I can maintain it because I'm putting in the work to do that. And I think that that's what it is. I think that, you know, there no judgment attached to this, but if somebody else is at a lower frequency with a, you know, negative emotions going on, and, you know, I'm up here, they're not easily going to pull me down anymore. Whereas before I was like porous. I would absorb it all and just take it on.
But I think also for you, I think that's the strength in finding that you do fit. You not only fit in the people that you have found, and I have found in doing this work, but also the fit that you have found in yourself that, hey, wait a minute, maybe I was right the whole time. Maybe this really is good. And I followed the pack, but maybe they didn't know where they were going. They were just kind of wandering in the woods. And I was on the right road. I didn't know if it was, but here I am now, and I'm, as you say, happy. I'm fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
So I guess my final question, which I must ask, because the beautiful M will be so disappointed if I don't ask. Actually, she won't be. But what does love over fear mean to you?
That means doing the ropes course.
Perfect.
Yeah, when I don't want to do it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what it means. It just means making a different decision and overcoming myself in that moment to choose something else and to not let my own self-imposed limitations hold me back.
Mm. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, my dear Jaimie, I guess that pretty much sums it all up for you. Is there anything else you would like to add to the folks at home?
Um, yeah, because I think that this has also helped me in like very little ways that you wouldn't necessarily put so much attention on, but they've had a big impact in everyday life. Like, I have a passion and a love for photography. I didn't go to school for it. And before doing this work, I had this belief, well, I didn't go to school for that, so I can't really do that for money. But people started asking me, word of mouth, they wanted to pay me. And just recently, I actually registered it as a business. And that was overcoming a fear for me because I still had that little voice in the back of my head that I didn't go to school for this. Who am I to do this? Just because I have a passion and a love for it. So even in like the smallest ways, it's pushing you along on your path just to follow your joy. Whatever brings you joy, that brings me joy. I love people, I love faces, and I want to photograph them. So it's just really helpful if you do this work.
It's freeing. It's
Yeah.
freeing because that's it. I mean, again, you may never have had that opportunity because to follow that, because that voice would have been so much louder. But I think that's what this work does. And in the state that you're in and following your heart, it it shuts that voice down. Just it quiets it just a little bit.
And that's exactly it. It doesn't only quiet the voice. I think it changes the voice. It changes the whole way you think because instead of saying, who am I to do this? You say, why not me? It's just
Brilliant.
a different way of thinking. Yeah.
Brilliant. Different way of thinking. Absolutely. Different way to live.
Yes, different way
I
to live.
love it. I love it. Well, thank you, my dear. It's been a pleasure. It wasn't so painful, right?
No, it was like a conversation.
It's a little conversation. That's all. So thank you so much. It was awesome. And hopefully Em thinks I did a good job. I'll beg her forgiveness if I didn't. And if I didn't, then we'll just do it again, or she could do it with you. But I think she was like, I can't do it with my twinsy. It'll be like interviewing myself. So I got the pleasure. So it's
You
all
did a
good.
great job. Great job.
All right, likewise. All right, darling. I will
Okay.
see you. All
All
right.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.